Hello everyone. So, we will now see some of the simulations which we do for grid connected converters. I will show you some of the simulation results just to give you a flavor of how the waveforms look like, how the transients look like. So, here some of the simulations that we will cover are for the voltage source converter, the traditional 2 level voltage source converter for certain P and Q exchange with the grid, that is one thing that we will cover, and then we will also cover one simulation of cascaded edge bridge converter, and at the end we will cover one cascaded edge bridge converter for STATCOM application, where only reactive power is being exchanged. Okay. So, all this modeling once we have done so these are the main equations. Okay, this P grid and Q grid, we have seen that in one of the previous lectures, and decoupled control can be possible implemented in the controller. So, once we have done, so this is the overall control diagram, okay, or the block diagram of the closed loop control of the VSC. Okay. We have also seen this in one of the previous lectures, and so you have this P star which gives you the P reference gives you the D axis component of the grid current. The Q star gives you the Q axis component of the grid current, and then you have the DQ current controller PI, okay, the PI regulated Kp plus Ki by S, and then you have the feed forward term, okay, feed forward term here for nullifying the effect of the cross coupling terms inside the VSC model, and then you have the VD star and VQ star. This goes into DQ to ABC transformation and will give you VA star, VB star and VC star, which you give it to a signed PWM or space vector PWM whatever, and then gives you the gate signal to the VSC. Okay. And then of course, there are some feedback terms, and you can see this in one of the previous slides. So, this shows this waveform here shows these waveforms shows some of these results which we have done with some simulation with under these conditions, like the grid voltage is 415 volt, and we are doing a sine PWM, and we have taken 720 volt as the DC bus. Okay. So, we are keeping the modulation index maximum like between close to like 0.97 or 0.96, something like that. We are putting the maximum value of the modulation index, and the filter inductance as we have seen, we are putting an RL filter at the output, and it is 10% of the base impedance. Okay. So, this simulation is done with the condition that for t less than 0.1 second, the P star is given as 10 kilowatt and Q star is 0. So, the VSC is supplying entirely 10 kilowatt of active power into the grid, but after t equal to 0.1 second, the P star and Q star becomes such two values. Okay. So, here you see this is the grid voltage 415 volt, this is the grid phase voltages, and then from the grid voltage we get the value of the theta. Okay. This is at 50, this is at 50 hertz. So, this is the grid voltage angle, and then this is the reference signal, this is the VA star, VB star and VC star. Okay. This is, and we have the actual converter output voltage, the pole voltage in this, which is a high frequency PWM, and we cannot see it here, all the PWM notches, and then we have the currents here. Okay. This is the IGA, IGB, IGC, okay, the three currents here, and we can see that there is a transition of the current at t equal to 0.1 second. Okay. And the transition is happening because you have a this is the P and this is the Q, okay, which we have set at 10 kilowatt to 5 kilowatt. Okay. So, here you have the 10 kilowatt and it reduces to 5 kilowatt, whereas Q goes from 0 to 5000 watt. So, this is the P star given, okay. So, and the actual P follows like this, and Q star is like something like this. So, it is possible here to track. So, we can see that the VSC is able to track the commanded P star and Q star, okay, and with a reasonably good transient response. Okay. Now, if you want to implement the space vector PWM, you just change this block here. Okay. You do not touch, I mean not touch, you do not change anything in the controller as it, but you just change the sign PWM block into space vector PWM block. And then with space vector PWM also you get a similar result. So, you see P star and Q star was they are kept same as before. So, you get here these values as per this whatever has been commanded. The only difference that comes up is that the reference signal here, okay, that is the only difference that comes up, because now you have some extra margin. So, that means you can this DC bus voltage is more than sufficient. Okay. So, we can reduce this DC bus voltage if we want to increase the reference signal up to 1. We have got a margin, extra margin of about say 15% extra margin we have got. Okay. Otherwise, the whole system and the dynamics, they are almost the same as before. Now, next is the grid connected cascaded edge bridge converter. Okay. Again you see how does the control diagram look like. Okay. It is very similar like the before, but there is this level shift PWM now comes into picture, otherwise things are same. Okay. So, this level shift PWM, why it is needed? Because now we do not have a single 6 switches, we have several switches to control, and so the results that we see here is, so we can show you the results here. So, if you have the grid line to line voltage of 3300 volt and number of cells are 4, each DC link voltage we have kept it something like around 800 volt, and we have put a small filter inductance of 0.5 millihenry, much less than the 2 level converter that we had seen earlier, and we have put a P star of 6 megawatt for t less than 0.5 second and 3 megawatt for t more than 0.5 second, and then again a similar values for Q star. Okay. And you can see here that this is the grid voltage and this is the theta angle, which is very similar to what we had just now discussed. The reference signals, of course, we are using here sine PWM, and so the reference signals are all sine waves here, and the because of the level shift PWM. So, from this we give the LS PWM, and the output of the cascaded edge bridge converter looks like this stepped waveform, as we have also discussed in the lectures. And then we have the currents, the grid currents flowing here, these are the grid currents, and the active and reactive power are following the following what we have given as the command. Okay. Commanded active and reactive power are being followed. Okay. So, this is how the CHB converter looks like. Again, you can also have the space vector PWM with level shift PWM with cascaded edge bridge converter. So, you have the level shift PWM here, but you additionally put the space vector algorithm here. Okay, that is the max and mean algorithm. Okay. So, that VA is V max minus V min, that is the common mode that gets added, V max minus V min divided by 2, that part we add so as to get the space vector PWM, and so this is getting added here. And so you see here the reference the Vref, this waveform changes now from a sine wave to something which is familiar with the space vector PWM, and here you can see the pole voltage also changes. Okay. The pole voltage changes, the pole voltage waveform changes because of the reason that P and Q has been changed. So, the modulation index has changed. If you can if you see it very carefully, there is a change in the modulation index here. Okay, there is a small change in the modulation index, and there is a small change in the waveform in the left hand side and on the right hand side of the reference waveform, that is causing a change of the waveform shape in the output voltage. Okay. So, this is the active and reactive power which are getting injected into the grid. Okay. Now, the CHB for a STATCOM application. Now, you know what is a STATCOM? A static com is a static compensator which injects reactive power to the grid. Okay. So, if the grid wants reactive power so as to support some load, so as to make unity power factor or to subside some of the disturbances, okay, then it demands, then it asks for some reactive power from the grid connected converter, and STATCOM is such a equipment. Okay. It is a voltage source converter which injects reactive power into the grid. It can also support active power, but in this case we are talking about very traditional STATCOM which is used exclusively for reactive power compensation. Okay. So, in this case, because we are asking only for reactive power from the STATCOM, then we are having only capacitors in the DC bus. We are not using any fixed DC bus which is fed from any DC power supply. So, all the CHB cells have a DC bus, but these DC buses are made up of only capacitors. Now, what does that mean? That means that it cannot support any active power, and we should have the active power exchange between the CHB STATCOM and the grid. The active power should be ideally 0. Okay. No active power should go. So, P star should be 0 and Q star for the converter should have certain value. Okay. So, this is for the ideal CHB STATCOM, but for non-ideal CHB STATCOM there are losses in the STATCOM inside the CHB because of the switching losses, and during transients you may want, suppose a capacitor voltage, because of some unforeseen reason a capacitor voltage has suddenly dipped, okay, and you want to keep you want to get the capacitor back into the nominal voltage. So, you will need a certain amount of active power from the grid for certain time. So, and apart from that you have losses in the devices and you want to compensate for those losses. So, a small active power is taken from the grid to support losses or during transient condition. So, this whole control diagram now gets modified. Okay. So, there are some additional blocks that come into picture. So, what are these additional blocks? One additional block is this one here. Okay. One additional block is this one, and the third block is this one. These three come into picture now. So, let us see what are their functions, these three additional blocks. So, at first the total active power of the CHB converter is regulated. So, we are now first talking about this side here. So, this means in an ideal CHB STATCOM, the Ig star should have been 0, because we are not supporting any active power, and IGQ star is corresponding to whatever. So, this is corresponding to whatever is the Q star. Okay. So, accordingly IGQ star is set. Now, in a real STATCOM, there is of course a IGD star coming. Now, how do we set that IGD star? We are basically setting this by checking the DC bus voltage for each cell. Okay. So, we want all the cells to have a same DC bus voltage. So, this voltage is this VDC star, which we are setting, okay. And then we are taking the average voltage of all the cells, okay, average voltage of all the cells together and giving as the feedback, okay. And then we have the DC voltage controller, which sets the IGD star. So, which means that this IGD star is basically corresponding to an active power, is a total active power. IGD star is corresponding to the total active power taken by the entire converter, entire CHB STATCOM converter. The total active power is set by IGD star, okay, the entire active power. This will support all the losses of the entire converter. Okay. So, basically we are following these two references. So, you can also have a look into this. So, this is the total active power. So, suppose the total active power is, maybe we can say that like the total loss in the converter is 300 watt. So, the entire 300 watt is basically proportional to the IGD star. Now, the next part is this part, the intercluster control. Okay. So, once the total active power comes, but now you have to be a little bit cautious. See, it may happen that ideally if this there are 3 phases and the whole 300 watt comes in. So, this there the 300 watt comes in, okay, suppose, then ideally each leg or each phase will have 100 watt, because there are 3 phases, 100 watt into 3. But it may happen that one of the phases, the losses can be more than, so phase A, the total loss of phase A can be more than the total loss of phase B. Why? Because you may have a old device, you may have a device which has a different heat sink, different heat radiation. So, the losses are getting changed in all the 3 phases. Okay. So, it may happen that this power here VA star, VB star. So, you can say that each is supposed to be like 100 watt, 100 watt and 100 watt. Okay. So, this VA star, the D axis component of that is controlling the 100 watt of power, but at this stage we have to take notice of this intercluster control, where we say that okay, we have to fine tune now. Okay. So, inside one phase means phase A may take 90 watt, phase B may take 110 watt and phase C may take 100 watt. Okay. The total is 300, but 3 phases are taking different wattages. It may also happen that in phase A, one of the cells has, for some unforeseen reason, the voltage has dipped and you want to recover the voltage quickly. So, therefore, you can have such a situation. Okay. So, this block here, this intercluster control, this block ensures that all these 3 phases get their own share of the active power, okay, 90, 110 and 100 for example. So, how does it work? What is there inside this block, intercluster block, what is there? it is shown by this diagram here. So, basically what you do here, it is basically also a PI control base. So, you have the VDC star, VDC star is the average voltage of the interface, and this is the feedback voltage is the average voltage for leg A, okay. Average voltage for phase A or leg A, okay. And then this, so it generates an error, and that error is multiplied, this is a multiplier here with the current, okay. Why it is multiplied with the current? Because we want to take an active component of the current, because this is proportional to the losses, okay. So, we take an active component of current and multiply with this voltage, so that we get a little bit of active power reference, okay. This is the active power difference which we are adding here. Remember, we are adding this VAP. So, this is the fine adjustment, okay. We are to this VA star, VB star, VC star, to this 3 references we are doing a fine adjustment of active power. So, that 100 watt splits into 110 and 90. So, that small active power is this VAP, VBP and VCP, okay, that we are adding there. Again, that is done with the help of this PI control, okay. And then the last part comes. We have seen this level shift PWM, but the last part is the intra cluster control. Why intra cluster? So, we have ensured that in phase A 110 watt goes, but now the question is how do you ensure that each capacitor voltage is at the correct value inside phase A? How do you say that? How do you say that inside phase A all the capacitors are at the same value? Then we do this intra cluster control. Intra cluster means that intra cluster means we can do, suppose, a sorting algorithm, okay, inside all the capacitors inside phase A. So, this is inside a phase, okay, and this is whole converter, and this is among the phases. So, this is the broad idea here. So, inside the phases, if you do a sorting algorithm, then you will make sure that all capacitors are 1/4. Suppose there are 4 capacitors, 1/4 of the total DC link, okay. So, that is what this intra cluster control does, fine. So, this is what is then. Of course, we have not talked about Q star, because it is already taken care of. Once you have got the DC buses under control with the help of this P star, with the help of this upper P loop, then the DC buses are all controlled and DC buses are all within their limits, and so the Q star can be directly controlled, assuming that all the DC buses are at their correct limit. Correct means equal, all DC buses are equal and have their correct value. Then it is easy to control the Q star, okay. So, then we have this as the simulation result, which we have done, suppose like 3300 volt, number of cells 4, DC link is 800 and the filter inductance is 0.5 millihenry and Q star is 6 MVAR, okay. So, it is very similar to what we have seen already, the results. You have this pole voltage, you have this reference. So, we are using sine PWM here, but we can also use the other PWM technique. So, here this is the current. Now, what is here additional thing is the capacitor voltages. You see the capacitor voltages are all getting stable at around 800 volt, okay, because the DC link voltage is set at VDC star is set at 800 volt. That is what we have done. So, the capacitor voltages are all settled at 800 volt, and of course, we have given a Q star of 6 megavar. So, this is the 6 megavar, 6 MVR, and there is this P star here. Okay. Of course, this P star is not 0, this is not 0, this is some value here. I do not, because, but the value is so small that you are not able to see it, okay, because this is taking care of the losses in the converter. So, but this value is definitely not 0. Okay. So, this is how the whole system looks, and these are some of the simulation results that we can see. So, you should go through it and try to make your own simulations and see how the whole system behaves.